Chapter 5 Exploration. Quick warning: this chapter contains people threatening others' lives and weapons such as guns. You have been warned. Shadow. POV. I stand there, looking around the yard at the people, my enemies. Pathetic, I hear a voice say in my head, my master's voice, Gabriel's voice. You can't even go a few minutes without getting caught, he scolds me. Well, it isn't easy to do so when these dragons can sense your evil on me, I explain. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Get out of there and I'll send Jasper to get them. He orders me. I sigh and snap my fingers, disappearing. Zeke. POV. Shadow disappears in a cloud of smoke. As it spreads across the yard, the memory of Shadow is stripped from my mind. As the memory fades, my hands start glowing the white light once again, before fading to just a small glow, and disappearing soon after. Time skip. It's been a few days since the arrival of our now human dragons. It took a while to get used to having them around, but it's been fun since then. We also haven't talked about the whole magic hands thing. I think everyone forgot about that, luckily. We've been trying to convince our dragon friends to sleep in the rooms with us, but they keep denying the offer. We even decided to go back to a ding-dong. I look up from my journal and at the door. I'll get it, I say. Walking over to the front door, I open it and see the man who gave us our dragons, Jasper. Nice to see you again, Zeke, he greets me. Nice to see you too. What brings you here? I ask. Well, I was just passing out these flyers for a light show, Jasper explains, handing me one of the flyers. I look at it and see the night sky with many different colors of light flashing through it. On the bottom I read the caption, "Chase the shadows away." That line triggers a memory in my mind. Like there's someone I met and forgot about. I don't have time to think about it too much before Jack arrives by my side. "Thanks for the offer. We'll think about it," says Jack, closing the door. "You okay?" asks Jack. "Yeah, does the word shadow remind you of anyone?" I ask. "Actually, now that you mention it, it kinda does," Jack responds with the same puzzled look on his face as I imagine was on mine a moment ago. "No." We look at the door, hearing the whisper. "Who's there?" I ask, pulling the door open. Behind it I see Jasper again. He's fumbling with some kind of weapon. "What's that?" I ask, taking a step back. He looks at me and I notice too late that the object was a glowing gun. He points it at us threateningly. "Get down," he yells at us, stepping into the house and closing the door behind him. "What do you want?" asks Jack. "I want for you to follow me quietly or I'll erase your memory. I don't know how you remember Shadow, but I must fix this," Jasper explains. "Wait, how will you erase our memories?" Jack asks. "With this gun," Jasper says simply. "Okay, fine, we'll come," I say. Jasper nods and turns around, opening the door. Me and Jack stand up. I look at Jack and see he has an annoyed look on his face. I wink at him and I see a look of realization cross Jack's face before he nods and looks at the ground, acting sad. "And don't think about escaping. I may not restrain you, but I will not hesitate to use the memory wipe," he tells us, waving the gun in the air. "So it's called the memory wipe," I think to myself. I look to Jack and see him nod to the left. I look over at the direction he nodded and see our friends, Alex and Baxter, with their new friends, Mono, Ashir, Storm, and wave behind them. Mono is the first one to notice us. He taps Baxter's shoulder and points to us. He looks over and his expression changes instantly from shock to angry. I put a finger up to my mouth as a way to tell them to be quiet. Baxter nods and continues walking, telling all the others about it on the way. Jasper leads me and Jack down the walkway in front of the house, leading to the sidewalk. Jasper takes a turn and bumps right into Baxter, dropping the gun. Now, I yell at Baxter. He grabs the gun and points it at Jasper. Hey, I mean no trouble," Jasper says, trying to back away. "Stay there," yells Baxter with a sudden burst of loudness. "What do you want with Zeke?" "I mean, my friends," Baxter asks. Jasper looks between all of us, his gaze landing on Alex. I see an angry look on his face and he snaps his fingers, disappearing. "So, what just happened?" asks Storm, sounding angry and confused. "Well, let me explain," I tell them. Time skip once again. Me and Jack take our friends back into the house and explain everything. "So let me get this straight. You were just writing, says Storm. Then Jasper knocked on the door, says Wave. Lied about the light show, says Asher. Which triggered your memory, says Mono. Then Jasper threatened you, says Baxter angrily. And then we arrived, says Alex, tapping Baxter's back. Pretty much what happened. I know it's dangerous, but we have to find him, I tell them. What? Jack says, shocked. We are not chasing him down. Jack yells. Yeah, he could have hurt you, says Alex. You stay out of this. Jack yells at Alex. Hey, Baxter says, hugging his sister. Jack, calm down. I yell back. I can't when my brother is thinking about risking his own life. Jack yells at me. I feel myself getting more and more angry. I don't even know if you're my brother. Our memories are gone. I yell back, not thinking. The room falls silent. I see a hurt look on Jack's face before he runs into the room. I shake my head and sit on the floor, my head hurting. Baxter. POV. I see Zeke on the floor, Alex and our friends rushing over to comfort him. I'll go talk to Jack, I say, stepping into the room and closing the door behind me. Please leave, says Jack, looking at the floor. It's just Baxter. I wanted to come talk to you, I say, sitting next to Jack on the bed. He looks up at me and frowns. You're only here because you have a crush on Zeke, correct? Jack asks, sitting up fully. I feel my face get hot and Jack smiles. What? No, I just wanted to say that Zeke may be right. If Jasper has this memory thing you guys talked about, who knows what he took from us all. Maybe even the whole town. I explain. Jack frowns again and sighs. I guess so, but how? Jack asks. Suddenly Jack freezes. Jack? I ask, waving my hand in front of his face. A few moments later Jack snaps back to reality. I know where to find him. We have to get the others, Jack explains. Time skips, once more. Mono, POV, me, and my friends are walking down a path through the woods, going somewhere. Anyone care to tell us where we're going? I ask. Well, obviously we're heading into the woods, says Wave. I swear you're hopeless, says Storm. I see Alex and Baxter just shake their heads and Jack just rolls his eyes. We're heading to a warehouse, Zeke explains. And why are we going there? I ask. Because Jasper should be there, which will allow us to see what plans he's coming up with, says Jack. And maybe Shadow will be there, says Zeke. Shadow. I think to myself. Shadow wasn't that bad. He just scared me a bit at first. I hadn't seen him in a while. We continue walking and come across a clearing. Okay, we can set up camp here. The warehouse is still far away, Zeke explains. I look up at the sky and see the sun setting. Another time skip. A while later we all finish setting up tents, just as the stars come out. Let's head to bed, says Wave. Yeah, agrees Alex. I'm tired. We all head into tents with someone else. Zeke shares a tent with Baxter. Jack shares a tent with Asher. Alex shares a tent with Storm. And I share a tent with Wave. We climb into the tent. It's a little small, but there's just enough room to fit. We both lay down and drift off to sleep.